Why am I here and he is not? A father's journey to make sense of love, loss, and hope. Hello again, I'm Larry Klopot, and I'm a father trying to make my way along this journey of grief that I'm on. If you joined me for previous episodes, you know that my son and only child died suddenly on May 2nd, 2024. Throughout this podcast series, I read some of the journal entries from the past year with the hope that anyone who is on their own personal journey of grief can find some peace knowing that they are not alone. July 7th, 2024, 5:45 a.m. I still make it through the day. Being at my desk by 5:45 a.m. was not the plan for today, nor should it be for any day. Watching my room go from dark to light is not what I want to witness. My night was upside down, or so it seemed. I was awake most of the time, now that sleep happens in ever shorter intervals. The real time no longer has me surprised by how little of it has passed since I last woke and looked up. I know this is not good, and that I will probably pay the price both mentally and physically, but the choice is not mine to make. I definitely have Alex on my mind through each night as I do through each day. That is the blessing and the curse of life since that day. Everything triggers an Alex thought, often with tears on the verge of flowing, occasionally with tears actually flowing, sometimes with just sadness overcoming me, and periodically with warmth and contentment. No matter which of these moments rears up, I understand them to be validation that he is part of me and always will be. Thinking about what I just wrote in the last paragraph has brought tears streaming down my cheeks. I didn't expect that. I do try more and more to put our journey in perspective. I am trying to step forward where I can. I'm trying to not show sadness all the time as life unfolds. I do things in the way that I did them before the second. I even had a great many conversations about him without tears. I can describe his insane shoe collection with humor and incredulity that it deserves. I can show a couple of his friends around downstairs to have them help us sell off all of his indoor grow equipment without choking up. I can do all that, but when there is a pause after, sadness comes a-calling. A few days ago, we went to a concert at Ontario Place. We were both excited of just doing something normal and fun, and it was all of that. Getting there and leaving the venue meant walking past BMO Field. I almost had to hold my breath and look away so my mood wouldn't be affected. That didn't really work. As we walked past the place where Alex and I spent so much time together, not always great time together, but still together, I couldn't help but feel the pain of loss. I thought of us going into the building. I saw us leaving and crossing the parking lot. I looked up to the section we sat in, which overlooks the CNE. I thought of his joy, his excitement, and at times his bipolar anger that sometimes was on display. We quickly walked toward the concert, and I tried to put the sight of the place and the memories it conjured up into separate buckets. It was just a building, and memories are in my head. Having Arlene there and feeling her excitement for our normal night out helped so much to redirect my thoughts to her and to the show. Late one night, I posted a picture of Arlene holding Addie, who was holding a couple of flowers I picked for her from the small garden Alex had planted. I thought it was lovely, and I believe it captured a look on both of their faces of pure love and happiness. Comments and reactions from family and friends on Facebook came quickly. I was heartened by it, but I also began weeping as I saw more people react and as I reread what I had just written. I'm still trying to figure that one out. The waves still hit me often. The visions of being there still haunt me regularly. The disbelief that this is all real invades my brain occasionally. The sadness still is unwelcomed companion. The tilted head phenomenon still comes through from others, even in emails or texts. The journey still has no defined signposts along the way, however, I still make it through the day. July 8th, 2024, 7 a.m. Trophies. It's day 67 of our long journey since that day. I wake up every day, including today, wondering if the day ahead will be any different than the days behind. As the weeks have passed, the days do tend to be filled more and more with things that need to get done and that are normal life tasks. There are work priorities that need to be addressed. There are meetings and lunches with friends and colleagues that need to be planned or confirmed. There are day-to-day functions that are on the normal life agenda. But there are also the moments of reflection, of sadness, of grief, of emptiness, of regret to deal with. I wonder now where the balance of all the things the day brings will shift. I can't see how it will, however. I read and hear about how it probably will. I understand that to many, the weight lightens incrementally and coping gets easier. I still cannot manage very well. There are constant shifts from feeling calm and comfortable to being sad and guilty, with the movie of the parking lot and the ambulance of the second hitting me without warning. Or perhaps the warning is there. Perhaps the warning comes cloaked in emotions that are calm and comfortable. Perhaps I'm not meant to be calm and comfortable. Time will tell. It's hard not to look back in sadness when you're going through his life as defined partially by his stuff. Yesterday there were some very tough moments. Buried in the back of the storeroom were 2 boxes that when seeing them had me in tears. One box was filled with hockey and soccer jerseys that were from a time when he was so young until his mid-teens. There's a small soccer jersey with the number 10 on it, as well as the logo of my company as the team sponsor. Many of his jerseys wore the number 10, which he always chose because of me, as that was the number of my favorite hockey player, Guy Lafleur. There were hockey jerseys from all the hockey camps he attended and some team jerseys with his name on the back. I pictured the time and circumstance associated with every one of them. The other box may have been more heart-wrenching if I had had the strength of mind and spirit to open it. I didn't. In big block letters written on the box was the word trophies. I had forgotten about that box until I saw it. In our last house, all of his trophies were on display in my home office. There were so many that it took up many shelves. I knew that if I opened that box, I would be so very emotional. I did take a minute or two imagining them on the shelf. I thought about how I was there when he received most of the awards. I felt a touch of pride. I felt at each of the times that he was honored for his accomplishments. I am thankful that he experienced those honors and that sports was such a big part of his life. I'm also thankful for Arlene being there with me now. I'm thankful for the honesty of emotions that we share. I'm thankful for the walks and talks we frequently have. And I am most thankful that we shared the life of Alex, as short as it was. July 18th, 2024, 6:45 a.m. How are you doing? The last 4 days of being alone while Arlene is away for some much-needed time with family and friends in Montreal has given me the opportunity to spend time alone with my thoughts and my grief. It's been hard to get through parts of each day because the movie of my brain plays on a high volume quite frequently. Memories and images pop up without notice or trigger. The loneliness at times overtakes me. Last night I was on the couch watching TV without any interest, just watching. Without any fanfare, Alex's memories enveloped me. I saw his face. I saw him in the backyard with friends having a beer, watching soccer on a TV he always brought outside. I saw him holding Addie. I saw him in the locker room as a young kid asking me to help tie up his skates. I saw images of him throughout his life. For several minutes I cried and was shaking as sadness was felt throughout my body. Afterwards I calmed down and reflected. I tried to figure out how the same memories that paralyzed me with regrets and grief can at other times offer me solace and comfort. Why can I coolly and without emotion talk about his shoes or the book I want to make for Addie or anything about him to one person but get choked up saying the same thing to someone else? I've been thinking that perhaps grief becomes more transient as time passes. Or perhaps grief is like a predator that lurks in the background until it sees an opportunity to pounce and take control. Whatever it is, grief is a bitch. Over these past 4 days, I've also stressed about many other concerns. Money, work, stuff that needs to be addressed, my health, Arlene's pain, isolation, loss of a friendship, and so on and so on. I've also been reading many stories written by other parents who have lost a child. This highlights again and again that this exclusive club that we will forever be part of is cruel and unforgiving. I get scared when I read about parents who cannot get their life together years and years after the death of their child. I feel the intense pain of the writer when the story is about a death that happens very recently. I know that for all of those people, and for us, life is forever changed, and that the adage that time heals all wounds is just a big lie. I probably should stop reading those stories now, but I am drawn to them. The hardest question that I get asked quite often is, how are you doing? I don't think that anyone who asks that question realizes the magnitude of what the response should be, and I understand that. It is usually a question asked by someone who cares, which is so good and comforting. The answer, though, is just so complicated and multi-layered. The short answer is often, I'm doing okay. But the real unspoken answer is that I may be okay at this exact moment, but I'm not okay most of the time. I am broken. I miss my son. My world is darker today than ever before, but we do still answer with responses that is easiest for them to hear and easiest for us to say. I am okay. There have been brighter times, thankfully, over the past few days. Dinner with a good friend at a restaurant, which meant I had to get off my ass and go. Then the day-long off-site meeting with a new potential project where I happily slipped into my comfort zone of creating a Socratic approach to finding answers. Getting a message from a friend of Alex's that had a video of him being so happy. Rita sending pictures of Addie at daycare. Hearing about good moments that Arlene is having in Montreal. I truly hope that there will be more and more brighter moments as time passes, even with the heaviness of grief and sorrow that will accompany us forever. July 26, 2024. 7:30 a.m. Dinner in the hood. The 85th day of life without Alex is now starting, along with all of the visions and thoughts about that day that greets me each and every morning when I wake up. The number of days since May 2nd flashes in my head. I would have thought that by now I would think of that number with some degree of resolve, but I don't. I still think for that brief second of the days since I was with him, with the same pain and sadness of all the days before today. I still lay there thinking that it is almost too hard to imagine what day will be like, knowing that I will crash into those waves several times before my next sleep. The stress of knowing that I'm also going to face the day with an extreme financial burden also paralyzes me. I have to convince myself that I need to get up and keep moving. Often, this is the time that I push sadness aside just for a little bit to let anger directed at my business situation and everyone associated with it get worse and rise up in me. Shaking that feeling off has become critical. If I don't, I'm not sure how I keep on keeping on. The roller coaster that is my emotional life does continue unabated. I struggle every day with being fine one minute and devastated emotionally the next. Sometimes with obvious triggers, and sometimes out of the blue. Last evening could be used as a case study. We were invited to the home of friends from the old neighborhood. Alex and their son played hockey together when they were kids, and we became very close to the family. We loved all of them and spent a lot of time together back in the day. Until we dropped by their place unannounced a couple of weeks ago, we hadn't seen them in close to 20 years. As we hugged each other, those 20 years seemed like 20 minutes. Our affection and friendship for and with them stood the test of time and absence. Last night, as we sat with the whole family, we wore our raw emotions on our sleeves. I cry every day, often several times a day, but rarely with anyone around. It was different with that family as we recounted the details of Alex's death to people who knew and loved him so long ago. During the discussion, the letter I wrote to Alex, which was read by Arlene at the funeral, was read aloud. I wrote it. I listened to it being read before. I have referred to it, and I could probably recite most of it by heart, but as I heard the words spoken this time by Alex's former hockey line mate and friend, I could not contain the tears, and neither could Arlene. It is far from normal for me to be like that, but nothing in life now is normal. The rest of the evening was soul cleansing. We all had dinner and caught up on our respective lives. We laughed, we talked about the past, talked about everything under the sun, shared some more Alex stories, and once again bonded with that entire family. I watched Arlene get much more outwardly emotional at times than I have seen for a while. I also saw that turn itself into comfort and, dare I say, happiness as the evening went on. We felt a warm embrace of that family. It was difficult to say goodbye when it was time to leave. I'm still broken. I'm still deeply sad. I still have frequent debilitating flashbacks. I still struggle with the reality of his absence. However, it is times like dinner with that family and other times with compassionate friends over a meal or just a coffee that is life-sustaining. Hearing from friends and family who reach out from their hearts to us is what allows me to move forward inch by inch. I'm going to end today's podcast with another letter that I wrote to my son months after he died. August 2nd, 2024, 7 a.m. Every picture tells a story, don't it? Oh, Alex. My heart is broken and my soul is shattered because you are not here with us, and you will never read this. Today marks 3 months since that horrible morning in a parking lot in Scarborough. 3 months since our last moments together. 3 months since we talked. 3 months since I made the stop to get you Gatorade. 3 months and 1 day since I saw the happiest you I had seen in years. 3 months and 2 days since you held your beautiful daughter. 3 months since our world was turned upside down. 3 months since the worst possible pain a parent can feel began. I do relive that morning every day, in fact, many times a day, even though I try my hardest to turn the channel and relive the day before. Sometimes I can actually do that. Thinking about our conversation in the car on that day is painful but comforting as well, because I know the joy you had in your heart for Addie, for the prospect of a renewed relationship with Rita, for the videos for your music that you were about to make. You talked with giddy glee about all those things in our long drive that I wish was even longer so I would have had more time to remember. I hold on to the hope that one day, with the help of the people around me, the day before will be the day I remember more than the day you left the world. Life is so difficult now, which I suppose is a testament to the enormity of my love for you and the vast emptiness I feel each and every day. Certainly some days are better than others, with more and more memories jumping into my thoughts of you in good times. I feel a mix of pain and peace every time I see all those pictures of you in your favorite Burberry shirt holding Addie. You radiate the purest feeling of love, pride, and happiness that I've ever seen. I know those and the hundreds of other pictures of that precious little girl with you will give some comfort to her as she grows up. Alex, I spent a lot of time going through the pictures of you chronicling your entire life. I stare at the picture of you and me in a fishing boat when you were probably 5 or 6 years old. I scan through all the pictures you saved in the cloud, and yes, I know you would be pissed at me for doing that, or maybe you would be happy, knowing that those pictures will live on and be shared with your daughter. I hope it is the latter. The combination of all your pictures and all our pictures of you help me stay connected. As much as I know you struggled more than most in your short life, dealing with your mental health issues and other challenges, I now know, as I always had hoped, that you did have happiness as well in your life. All your pictures create a story about who you were. I see in those pictures the love you gave and received from friends. I see clearly all the phases of the ever-changing Alex. I see the periods when we worried about you the most, but now see that even then you had happy times. In case you were wondering, I do see the hard times and the aggressive times. I do see the times that you went off the rails. I see very well the fuck you world phases of your life. I wish I could jump into those pictures and go back to those times to hug you and offer comfort and security. Most of all, though, I see your smiles, laughter, your love. We do talk about you now a lot with friends and family. We look forward to a time when we do that without talking about the second, or the investigation, or the lawyers, or the obvious outward pain, but rather only about the good memories you left us. I know the pain will never go away, but I hope it will be balanced with the warmth and joy of good thoughts we have of you. You were, are, and always will be my world. I don't know how I will live my life without you here, but please know that you will always be part of my heart and soul. You will be in every part of my life. You will be part of Addie's life. You'll be remembered by everyone whose lives you touched. I miss you so much, even though you were never really far away from me. I wish I could look in your eyes and thank you for allowing me to be a dad. I wish you could feel what I feel about you now. I wish you did feel that when you were with us.